Hello there, it's Gus here, and I know it's been way too long since I did a video, but here I'm back, and today I'm going to be talking about the illustration process of the comic book, like you saw in the title, because it's what everybody really cares about the most. So I've been really busy with a ton of stuff, so I had to dramatically slow down on producing, like drawing the actual comic, and I completely stopped the videos. But now I'm back at it, and I'm bringing you today's episode where we're going to be looking at how I illustrate the pages, looking at the 16th page of my comic book. And now, of course, especially considering I'm at a rather low level in terms of artistic skills, a lot of it is quite subjective. So I'm just going to be taking you through the main beats of my process. A lot of it just comes down to how you like to draw. But I hope that my little experience can maybe, help you somewhat. Let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, where am I in the illustration process in the scale of the entire comic book? So I'm gonna show you really quickly. Boom, the blue boy. This is where I keep all the finished pages for the comic. I'm currently done with 15 pages, and today I'm gonna take you through the process of doing the 16th. So, quick run through of the story of the comic book. If you're too lazy to watch the entire thing, just go to the time I'll put on the screen right now. Let's go if you just wanna get on board with the story. So first page, we're introduced to Mike. He's over there just chilling, not doing his homework, instead sleeping on his book like every high school student ever. He gets bored, gets his skateboard, ties up his shoes, and I'm going to the skate park. We see him outside, just enjoying himself, doing some tricks, jumping above it like a trash bag or something. He comes across a Nike store, because I think it's funny. He gets like, yeah, I'm gonna do a fucking cool trick. He slides on this little barrier thing that's right there, jumps off it, bounces off the Nike store thing, and slaps the living daylights out of the really highly placed sign that's up there. He's really happy. He just gets caught by gravity again, if you can say that like that. He lands on another barrier as his skateboard just falls off right there. He does a cool flip, lands on it, and goes already drifting. Where those guys just like, what the fuck just happened? And there's an owl because I think it's funny. After that, he gets to the skate park. We're introduced to his best friend Dre. They do a little high five thing. I don't really know what the fuck I was thinking there. His friend is a grapher. He just got done with this sick ass graph. Actually, it's pretty cool. And boom, establishing shot, we get to see the entire skate park with like the pit area, with like slopes on the side where you do cool skateboard tricks and shit. And after that is this theater of a disaster of visual storytelling. Right there, we get where they are because we see their heads, so we get that the camera is placed like this and we look in this direction. However, what the fuck is going on here? Like, we see that this is a slope. This is supposed to be the edge of this wall. We kind of see the beginning of right there. But I didn't even, hatch this way because I was fucking lazy. Then he jumps, and with just this, we're supposed to have noticed earlier that there is a rope tied to the crane. The thing is, in this image, there's nothing guiding our eye towards this. Everything sort of just goes like this, and we don't even see that. Anyway, he grabs the rope of his friend's hand after taking some speed with this thing. He jumps off, and once again, all the shots are way too close to the characters. We don't know where the fuck he is in space because nothing indicates it to us, except when he gets there and lands on the other side of the pit, so basically after the action happened. This sucks. Probably gonna redo these 2 pages because they're really, really terrible and I can easily do a lot better. Anyways, our character is pretty impressed with this. He thinks it looks awesome. He just looks like, if we go from this really tall, really scary slope with a line that's really, really thick, we can swing all the way up there, probably. And this big boy is just like, oh, you wanna do it? Yeah, let's go, you're gonna do it. Look, boys, he's gonna jump from a high place. And he's like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, well, now that he said it to everybody, I'm gonna do it. He gets up, and he's just terrified of what the fuck is happening. He tries to get his confidence back by doing a cool little trick, but he did lose control of his speed immediately, speeds down past the rope without even catching it of his friend's hand. It just gets catapulted into the pit and crashes down on the pit's edge. and his skateboard falls on his head. The boys are kind of like, wow, he just got hurt, didn't he? He gets back up and just runs the fuck away because he's ashamed. And his friend is like, probably not over yet. Then we meet him again. It's nighttime. He's just walking around the streets, not doing anything with like Josh's fast food. This guy's Josh. I don't really know. I think it's funny. There's another funny little guy just looking at the window, and he's like annoyed. He kicks a little can thing that was in front of him, and as he does that, he just wish he could latch onto the crane after his jump instead of having to worry so much about catching the rope. And boom, he gets an idea. He goes to his father's garage, and that actually has a graph done by his friend Dre. I think it was really cool to include that. Opens the door and gets crafting a grapple. This one fucking stings. He tries it, it doesn't work. Okay, whatever. He crafts a couple of the ones, it doesn't work. He gets progressively more annoyed, if I can turn the page. He gets progressively more annoyed, it does progressively stupider stuff. They're like a frying pan. I don't fucking know why you would use a frying pan as a grapple, but whatever, he just tried it. He's really annoyed, just banging his head on the walls. And eventually he comes to this little hook chain thing. And wait a minute, it works? He is just not believing that it actually worked after so many failures. He's really happy. And he just looks at it like, you are gonna be the thing. He calls his buddy Dre. He's like, yeah, no worries. I've been away from everybody for like the entire night. But no worries, I'm good. Come to the skate park, it's gonna be fucking awesome. And as the sun rises above the buildings, he gets to the skate park. His buddy's just waiting for him down with that, giving him courage. We see some of the suggestive, weirdly background like this. The slope is right here waiting for him. Close up of his hand, he's like twitching the grapply rope all over again. Looking at the objective, the sun rising above the crane, just towering above everything. And this page we get a little bit more personal. We get like inside how scared he is, but also how determined he is to just finally do it and do something really cool, because that's all he is really about. His leg starts to move to propel himself down the slope, and that's what we're going to be trying today. The rest, the actual jump. There we go. So before we get to illustrating, we need to have to know what to put on the actual page. So that's where the storyboard and the layout sketches come in. Boom, this is my sketchbook. I did the storyboard in my sketchbook. The first 10 or so pages I did in another sketchbook, and the rest I did in this one. I split the process in two because I think it's kind of a boring process, so I didn't do it all in one rush. I did it in two because I was really impatient. There you go. So that's page 14 and 15 and 16 in this one. As you can see, it is something quite unusual. These pages are not just storyboards like this, which is just choosing what you show and what you don't in your little panels. This is also actually a layout sketch. I don't usually do this, which is kind of weird. I have another process usually. So usually for the layout sketches, I use a separate piece of paper like that I just fold in four, just like that. So that not only am I sure, not only do I have four different little versions of the layout on the same spot so I can compare them easily, but they're also the exact right proportion, because I'm drawing on this A4 paper and this just folded in four. So that's how I usually do it, but I don't know, I just felt inspired, I guess, when I did the storyboard, and I went in all out, and also the layout, and I just liked it straight up, so that's what I went with. So that's, I don't know, a bit of a weird tip I could give you. Just trust your artistic instinct, I guess. And then comes what you guys are here for, the actual illustration. And first, the layouts, applying what I just did in the layout sketches. So first, you can see that I start by giving myself a margin of 1 centimeter around the whole page. I really like this little technique, as it makes the page breathe, and by breaking this rule with some of their panels, you can really make them pop. Then I really lightly and really loosely just put in the different panels, and after that, the very precise measuring of the exact size and proportions of everything comes. First, put them really lightly to really get that sense of flow, and then put them precisely with measurements with your ruler. They're really enough because I was really tired. I just did one of the panels precisely and then straight up started drawing. Usually I just outline them all and start drawing after that, but I guess it's fine. Here you can see I'm just getting the pose of the character down. He's just sliding down that really steep slope, so I try to convey that sense of, a low center of gravity to get that speed going, and I think it was pretty successful overall. Yeah, so for the penciling process, it's pretty straightforward. Start with, the gesture stuff, then build your way up to more detail, and include some, classic comic book-esque speed effects. I didn't do all the speed lines, I just got the point that all the speed lines were converging towards so that I would put them when inking. I think it's just way faster. And I also forgot to do the rest of the panels. I did them after that. As you can see, to indicate the hatching of the second panel here, I just go really loosely and lightly. I don't actually place every single line that I'm going to hatch. I prefer to make these decisions when I'm inking, because I think it's just a bunch faster. Like, I don't have to make the decision twice. The sound effects are a really fun part of making comics, I feel like, and I like giving them dimension by putting a shadow on one side. Plus, because one of the main things you see a lot in this comic is graffiti. It has sort of a graffiti style to it, I guess. I'm not really good at it, but I tried to implement that sort of a style. And then boom, next panel, really wide, simple shot that gives the dimension of the entire action. I'm getting to the last panel. I actually kind of screwed up the foot. It was angled way too much towards the outside, and I just corrected like 20 minutes ago at the time of recording this, so long after finishing the page and filming it or anything. But whatever, I'm getting that upshot at the pose. He's, up in midair, his skateboard is falling below him. We need to really have that sense that he is not on the ground. He's currently falling down, being caught by gravity, and just his last hope is throwing that damn grapple and having it latch onto it. So everything is focused on communicating that, and I think I did a pretty decent job. And then, boom, I move on to what? The goal, the fancy, everyone's talking about it, the inking. I'll start by inking the borders of the panels. I do that first because I often like to have some elements go past the borders of the panel, like here, the tip of the grapple goes past it. So I do all of them first, making the decisions of what is going to go past them and what is not, and then I start inking with, here, my Pentel Pocket Brush Pen. I actually have a video just on that subject, check it out, it's good. I have a couple different tools I like to use, so first that Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, and then I also like to use a couple of microns. I have a 0.5 and a 0.1, and sometimes I also use a Fudenosuke Tombow pen, the soft tip one. I think I used it in this one. Is it a brush pen though? I mean, it's sold as one, but it's more of a flexible nib pen than anything. Whatever, it's a good tool that I use quite a bit in this one. So there we go, you can see I'm doing the speed lines only as I'm inking. I don't do only straight lines, some of them are broken in the middle. Some of them go over the character, some of them don't. And I make these decisions there and not in the penciling process because I think it's just a lot better. Boom, the sound effects. Some of the sound effects, I also like making them go out of the panel and into the gutter. So actually I learned that the space between the panels is called the gutter reading this book, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. It's a pretty great book, check it out. I didn't do it in this case, but it can often be a really good thing. What I did to make go into the gutter though is the grappling hook. So there I also like to indicate the form of the objects by just blacking out what's in the shadows, getting that really tight hatching to have that value contrast. Couple of hatching and of black spots on some illustrations just to frame them really. They're more stylistic effects than actual objects represented. As you can see, first of all, I'm not the best with a brush pen, and second, I kind of screwed up the tip of this one by washing it, so like it still comes to a sharp tip, but getting the transition to a really thin line to a somewhat thin line, it kind of immediately goes a bit too thick, so I struggle to control it. I'm not used to it yet, and the face look a little bit messy, so after I finish the inking, and only after I finish the inking, I sometimes go with some whiteout. There go speed lines again, just like with the previous panel. As you could also notice, I nearly always start with the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen for the inking process, unless something needs to be done with a ruler. I usually do it first, except if it's a speed line. And here we are with page 16. I'm actually quite happy with how it came out. This pose is a little bit rougher on the edges, but this one's really good. I like the facial expression, I like the inking, I like the overall layout, and all the narrative that goes from these two. The build of the tension all the way to this one. I really like it. It took me, I think, an hour and 40 minutes roughly to do it, like of just non-stop drawing. I was also really fucking tired. I did it yesterday night. I was so tired. My head was banging and everything, so I took a couple breaks, plus setting up the camera and everything. It was roughly 2 hours. So yeah, that's. I think I could have been a little bit quicker if I wasn't as tired, but that's a pretty realistic time. On average, I say I take roughly 2 hours to fully pencil and ink a page like that one. So that was a pretty decent example. Looks like it's all I've got for today, guys. I just have to do that like 24 times to get the entire comic illustrated. So as you can probably guess, this can get pretty daunting. It's it's definitely not an easy job to do. So what I advise is not doing more than 2 pages a day, for beginners at least, even if you can't afford to, like I can, because you might just get burnt out, and that's not good. You also need to do a ton of other stuff in your day. You need to spend time with your family, spend time with your friends, exercise, do a ton of healthy stuff that is gonna keep you more productive in the long term than just banging page after page after page and getting burnt out in 2 weeks. That would really suck. And you probably grow to just hate your project really quickly, which is not good, of course. And also here I did them in order because I thought the fun things to draw were spaced out pretty evenly, but if your project has just a big chunk of pages that is really boring to do, maybe don't do them in order. Like, I don't know, space out evenly the stuff that you think is going to be fun to draw to re-spark that passion in you for that project. That might be a bit of a, I don't know, a cool idea you could have if your specific project fits it. So until next time, like and sub, you know the deal. Have a good day, keep drawing, keep improving, and see you in the next video. Peace.